Welcome to episode 3 of our coffee break with Sir Owlverics. My name is Lillard. I'm co-founder, and this, of course, is founder Amy of Sir Owlverics. We're really excited to live stream with everybody today. I'd like to introduce our next guest. His name is Kevin Kidney of creative studio Kevin and Jody show in Anaheim, which is our Owlverick's hometown. He's a longtime Disney designer for 25 years of theme park parades and entertainment. He's one of the 2 original designers and creators of Fantasmic, which is something I grew up with. So that's so crazy to me.
We both grew up, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and he and his partner Jody have designed Disney merchandise and collectibles for over 20 years and have created work for not only Disney, but Universal Studios, Pixar, the city of Anaheim, and tons of other great companies. And his work is absolutely amazing. So there he is.
Hey, hello.
Good
morning.
Welcome.
Yeah, I got my hangover chaser from Sirowlvericks, and
Oh,
Nice.
are you
I'm ready to
chasing?
go. No more hangover. Woo.
Is there the black magic in there?
I wish. Yeah, all my tiki friends know I love the black magic cocktail at the Mai Kai in Fort Lauderdale, which is made with coffee. I have never made it with Sirowlvericks, though. I think I need to try that.
Where do you find your inspirations from?
Oh, everywhere. Movies and music and you know, just seeing art, seeing other artists, following lots and lots of great artists on Instagram and creative people, and you know, just kind of sucking it all up, absorbing everything.
Cool. How did art turn into a career for you? Did you go to art school?
Well, I did study art in school, but you know, for me, I really wanted to be an artist at Disney. I wanted to be like a commercial artist and design. I always thought I was going to work at Walt Disney Imagineering, which designs the you know, the rides and the attractions for the Disney theme parks. And I actually, my career never went that way. I never even applied at Imagineering because all through my career, I've just kind of found my path and just have worked my way through. But just like a lot of kids that I hear from all the time who want to work for Disney, that's how I was. You know, I was a kid who just loved going to Disneyland, and I always thought it would be fun to live there. I wanted to live in Disneyland. So, you know, working there was the next best thing.
Well, you're pretty close to Disneyland.
I am. Yeah, we are a mile away, I think, and so normally we can hear the fireworks, you know, here every night. It's kind of our tradition to hear the fireworks, and the neighborhood loves it. Everyone loves the fireworks.
Can we just go back in time, because I talked about Fantasmic, and you were one of the original designers on that show. How did that start? Like, were they just like, hey, we want to do, here's a blank canvas, go to town? Or was there a lot of guidelines to it?
No. Well, I was really young. This would be the late 80s. You know, I started, you know, I had a 25-year-long career at Disney, but I left Disney about 14 years ago. So I'm way older than you thought. But I started as an artist, as a very young artist, right out of college at the Disneyland art department here in Anaheim. And it's kind of, the building that we worked in is pretty much right where Star Wars Land is. It's kind of where the Millennium Falcon is just sitting. So we had a little trailer in that kind of area where we all worked. And I worked with a senior art director named Tom Butch, who had worked in television and done a lot, had an amazing career before going to Disney. And then he was put in charge of Fantasmic, the designs, and then I just got called to kind of assist him and help. So he was the main designer, and I was the model maker. So I was sculpting the models and the miniatures for it, you know, doing a little bit of design, but mostly just kind of fleshing out all of the three-dimensional things. So if you think about Fantasmic, it doesn't have a lot of 3D sets. It's mostly projections on water, right? And fire effects and everything, and some characters. But there are some, at least in the early days, I think Fantasmic has evolved since then. But in the early days, there was a big Ursula, the sea witch from Little Mermaid, and she was like a giant puppet. There was also the crocodile from Peter Pan that follows the pirate ship around the river. What else? Anyway, yeah, all of that kind of, oh, and of course the dragon. So I got to work on the dragon. We had a little group of about 3 people that kind of put together the idea for the 3-dimensional dragon. And in the early days, we had so much trouble with that dragon because it was such a bulky body. We couldn't get it to come up and down out of its hidden hiding space, below the stage very quickly and then disappear really quickly in the smoke. So they had to keep taking more and more of its body away until it was literally like a dragon's head on a stick with a lot of smoke just billowing around to try to hide the fact that it didn't have much of a body. But that was the early days. And now I think they've kind of been able to solve that problem. And so the dragon is, we've got pretty much a full dragon now, which is good.
Changed a lot within the last 20 years, I think.
Well, let's see. I think, somebody can correct me. I think it opened in 90 or 91. It's been a blur. Yeah, it's been running for a long time.
Yeah, how long did that project take you guys, like from the start to the end?
Let's see. I'm going to move my arm over here. Well, let's see. I think we worked on it for about 1.5 years. And we actually had been told that Fantasmic was probably going to run for maybe, it could maybe run 3 years. And we thought, 3 years? Wow, fantastic. That's a long time for a show. And so we had no idea. We had no idea it was going to, that your childhood was going to be, touched by this show. We had no idea. It was just another project, and it actually was kind of a difficult project because it hadn't really been done before, a thing like that, out in a big outdoor show with projections and live performers and using all of the watercraft. The Mark Twain and the Columbia were part of the show as well out there on the river, and it was quite a task to coordinate, for sure. But yeah, here we are. It's still going. So,
yeah, that's
crazy.
Yeah, so was the transition from Disney out to your own studio, was it difficult or just pretty natural process?
You know what? It was a little bit scary at first, just like what we're going through right now. It was kind of an abrupt change. And, you kind of have this feeling of, is the ground going to just fall out underneath me? Is everything okay? And yeah, of course it was fine. Time goes on and you just adjust. And we had so many years of contacts with so many departments in Disney, because of course after I worked at Disneyland for quite a long time, I transitioned up to Glendale and worked in consumer products for a very long time, and that's where Jody and I did all of the merchandise that you've probably seen on our Instagram, all the collectibles and everything, and we continue to do that. But yeah, starting our own studio was like the best thing we ever did. It really was, because we, it's nice to be your own boss, as you know. You have to buy your own health insurance. That's a drag, as we know in this country. But I think we really love it. We love having our own studio. We love having our own hours and being able to take on projects that we both really get excited about, and maybe not take on projects we don't really care about. So it's nice. It's definitely worked in our favor.
If there's a project that you must do and you don't really agree with it aesthetically, how do you go about to find motivation to do it?
Well, it's just like anything else. If you have a client and you're working on a project for them, it's their thing, it's theirs, so they really have the final say. They have to be the happiest with it. So sometimes we do have to ignore our better instincts of or our good taste, because sometimes the client is paying for something and they really have the thing that they want to do, and we just have to try to make them happy and do it. So, and not tell them what we really think too much.
Well, would you like to show us some of your work?
Yeah, let's see if I can do this. This is going to be a little tricky because of the phone thing, but I laid some stuff out here on the table for you guys to look at. These are, one of the things I love to do is make miniatures and models, and so a lot of the things that we do are kind of like that. These are some pieces of Disneyland and some of the Disney movies. You may recognize the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and the omnibus, and here's Walt Disney's little car that he drove around Disneyland in. Can you see everything okay?
Yeah, great.
Okay. Let's see. Here's some Jungle Cruise boats, and this is the old pirate ship that used to be in Fantasyland, the Captain Hook's pirate ship, which was a restaurant, believe it or not. It's all gone now. We love a lot of the nostalgic Disney, so the Disneyland of the past. The 50s, 60s, and 70s are really our niche. So that's what we tend to like to do most. And then these are some fun things, some figurines that we did about 10 years ago for Disneyland's 55th, I believe. And then here's some stuff that just came out about a month ago or so for Mary Poppins. We're doing some merchandise right now for Disneyland Paris. And these things are hard to get here in the U.S. You'd have to buy them online or know someone in Europe who can buy it for you and mail it to you. But, it was an exclusive, but we had a lot of fun doing that. And then these paper models that you see back here, this hunter, and there's a fish, and there's the Araquan bird there. Those are paper models from Disneyland's Sensational Parade that we designed. So it had kind of a paper sculpture style to it, and we managed to keep some of the paper sculptures, but they're really fragile. Paper is super fragile, and they're a little bit dusty. I apologize about that, but yeah, that's some of the stuff that we've worked on. And then I do a lot of paper sculpture and animation, and this is one of the little figures that I've kind of held on to. This is a character that I did for a little animated series for kids. That's been out for a couple of years now. But yeah, so we don't have, a lot of people ask if we have kept one of every single thing we've ever designed, and no. It would be thousands. We'd have no room to work, you know?
So you do, we saw a bunch of the sculptures that you had made. So they will take that original and then they'll duplicate it? Is that you guys are making the original mold for it?
Yeah, so if it's merchandise like what you just saw for collectibles, so these are really all group efforts. I wish that Jody and I could just magically do all of this work ourselves, but it's just sometimes we are so busy and there's so much to do that we are really fortunate. We have a whole community of artistic friends who specialize in all kinds of stuff. So if we need someone to help out with sculpting or build miniature parts or paint something or whatever, we have a lot of people we can call on. So but yeah, we'll do basically the drawings of everything and the get the first sculpt done, whether we do it ourselves or have some assistants or have somebody else do it, and then that prototype is sent to China through Disney's sourcing department, and they will find the manufacturer that will do the best job, and hopefully, and then they go to work. It takes a while because if they're making thousands of these things, right, it can take up to a year to create a full edition, and then they have the big release and the signing events and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of back and forth. So we, Jody and I have been to China a couple of times to work with the artists in person, the manufacturers, and that is really fascinating just to get to see, how these things are made. Because I think a lot of us who buy stuff, we don't know how the work that goes into a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, the manufacturing process is totally different.
Yeah, and it's all people. It's all human made. Everything, all the things that I just showed you were hand painted. They're not painted by computers or machines. They're painted by humans who are extremely good at what they do. And a lot of the stuff that you see, there might be one person who painted just all the red color, and then they would move it down the line, and the next person would paint all the blue. And it would kind of go on and on like that.
How would you say that, like, stuff that you make for yourself personally, how does that does that differ in tone versus the stuff you get commissioned to do, or is it very similar? Are you very in the like, you know, happy and cartoony and when you make stuff?
Yeah, I would say our you know, we're not tortured artists who feel, you know, angst and stuff. We've never been that way. We tend to, you know, we love cartoons, we love movies, we love being happy. And so the things that we make and do on our own pretty much reflect that. I think that those are the only kinds of jobs that we will take. You know, they have to be something positive, and they have to be something that I think reflects us. You know, something that I would be proud to put in my portfolio. So that's really, I think, our motivating thing. And ironically, we really don't have too much time to do our own art. The art that we usually do, like if we have free time, we spend it mostly volunteering and helping things in our community. Like we volunteer our design services for the Anaheim Halloween Parade, which is almost 100 years old. That's been running since the 1920s, and that's super, super fun. Of course, we don't get paid anything for that, but we enjoy doing it because it's our town and it's our you know, something to be really proud of. But we do a lot of work for so many people, you know, that we don't really have a lot of time for our own stuff. I wish we had more time for that, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw on Instagram saying that you guys never get bored.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're never bored. I'm always amazed when people say I'm bored. You know, we have friends who are stuck in this whole shelter in place, and they're like, oh, I'm so bored. But I just feel like, gosh, I can't even imagine the luxury of boredom. There's too much to do. You know, there's too many. There's always a movie that we have not seen. You know, time is a wasted. We got to do this. We have stuff to do, so
All right.
got to take advantage of it.
Along those same lines, since we're talking about how much work you're doing, like I know that a lot of people watching are probably, you know, creative, and so it's kind of endless, right? So being a creative person, it could go forever. So how do you know, like, how do you stop after a day? Like, how do you know your day is done or your work is complete for the day? You could go on forever, right?
Yeah. I think, you know, you just get tired, you get burned out, and you need to switch channels. You know, you need to look at something else. You know, Jody and I each have our own way of coping with creative burnout. He likes to go watch a movie or put on something on Netflix and just kind of disappear and clear his brain. For me, I like to go on a walk and pick up trash. That's like my big thing, is picking up litter. So I have picked up, I don't know, 1 million tons of litter here in Anaheim over the last 10 years. But it's my zen, you know, it's the place I need to go. Because I feel like I've still accomplished something, you know. It's not completely just relaxing. But for me, it's a mindless activity that is very easy. I'm not doing it for any particular boss or for payment or there's no stress about it. I just do it for myself, and then I've had a nice walk. I got to explore the neighborhood, and I feel like I made, you know, things a little bit cleaner. So that helps my brain somehow.
So is the marker for you needing to go out and take care of our city, is the marker like, oh man, I've made a bunch of iterations and it's not coming out the way I want it?
Yeah.
Because when I think about songs or writing songs, it's usually at the point where everything I'm writing is terrible or derivative, and then I'm like, I gotta stop. That's my marker. So I just wanted to know what your marker is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That is absolutely it. The frustration, you have to work through that. And, you know, everybody says things look better after you've had a good night's sleep, you know, and, but sometimes it may be sleep. It may be just getting something to eat. It's just getting away from whatever it is that you cannot accomplish and then come back to it later. You know, that's what you just have to do.
So is that the cleaning up the city part? Is that something that you do with the greenbird that you mentioned?
Yeah. So, yeah, if anybody has this, you know, this problem that I have of needing to pick up trash all the time, there's a place, there are other people like you. So about, let's see, it's like 6 years ago now, Jody and I started a local chapter of a thing called Greenbird, which is actually a global nonprofit organization that started in Tokyo in Japan. And it is it's worldwide now. It's in Paris and Italy and Norway and Canada. And I think there's 3 or 4 groups now in the US, Boston and Colorado, I believe. So anyway, we started our group here in Anaheim, and it's a group that meets, it's just neighbors, it's a volunteer group that come out on a Saturday morning, usually every month. And we pick up trash for an hour or an hour and a half, just walking around. People bring their dogs, they bring their kids. Often we go out for coffee, or if it's later in the day, go out for beers or lunch. And it's really, really fun. It's not even just all about picking up trash. It's really about getting to meet people. The people that would take time out of their life to go and pick up trash are usually pretty okay people. They're not going to be too scary. They're going to be really nice and really generous and really wonderful people. So we've really made like the greatest friends here in Anaheim, and just hundreds of people.
Can we talk about Jody just for a little bit?
Yeah.
What is the split in work? Like, how do you guys share tasks? And then what's the key to having a long-standing, great partnership in work and in your personal life?
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing. I mean, I always hear people like, I don't think I could live with the same person I work with, for so long and all this. It's amazing. We have, let's see here. We've been together 25 years, and we have, in those same amount of years, we've worked on so many projects together that, I don't know, we have an amazing relationship in that we have very similar tastes in the aesthetics and the stuff we want to do and the things we want to work on. We're both get excited about the same kind of things. And yeah, I mean, sometimes we have our differences on stuff, but it's really great to have another eye to that. When you're working on something, I think I don't think my work would be nearly as good at all if I didn't have someone to show it to get their feedback and back and forth. And we do that all the time. So sometimes we work on things side by side. We'll take a job and we'll work on it together. Other times we're so busy that we'll just split up. He'll do one, I'll do one. But we're still collaborating in a way. We're still showing each other what we're doing, and we're still getting each other's feedback, even though we might not be, working on both projects together. So I don't know. It just has worked out really, really well for us. So yeah, it's great.
Lillard and I were a married couple, so we're so blessed that we can work together so well too.
Yeah.
It's a different level of creative, and it just makes us a better person.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we're just really lucky. We're just really, really lucky that we have that. Like you said, blessed. Very, very grateful for that in our lives.
What do you think is the coolest project that you've done, or something that you're most proud of?
It's so, I thought about that. I've been asked that before. That is such a hard question, because everything has been something that I've learned from and grown from. And so I hate to just pick one thing, and I really can't, because I know that I'm going to forget an even better one, I mean, recently, the fun projects that kind of come my way that give me a lot of pride, I got to work on a movie a couple of years ago. If you saw Mary Poppins Returns, which was the new kind of sequel to Mary Poppins, I got to build a prop for that, and it was a key prop. It was the snow globe, the little St. Paul's Cathedral snow globe, and that was really, really fun, because I think not only did I just get to enjoy it because it was a movie being filmed in the UK, but I was building the prop here in Anaheim in my little studio, and then mailing it, through FedEx over on Center Street off to, Shepperton Studios or wherever it was. And it was so such a cool experience, to kind of feel like being a part of that bigger project. And then also, I want to mention, for people who have Disney Plus, I don't know if you guys have Disney Plus, but 2 days from now, on Friday, May 1st, a new show is going to start streaming called Propculture, and it's all about the iconic Disney props that show up in Disney films, and I got to help with one of the episodes. So, yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if I'm in it, but I might be. So yeah, but definitely check it out. It's going to be an amazing show, and it's a whole series, and I think they're just going to drop the entire first season like all on Friday. So yeah, so you can binge.
That's awesome.
Wow. So what, besides that, what are you working on right now, if you can talk about?
Yeah. Oh, well, we're working on tons of stuff. A couple of big Disney projects that unfortunately I can't talk about, or I can't really tell you about yet. We're doing some merchandise, some Disney merchandise and stuff. Oh, we're working on a book. We're writing a book right now that was supposed to come out. Well, the idea was it was going to come out this December, but because of the whole lockdown, it's kind of delayed us a bit. It may come out a little bit later after New Year's. But again, Disney Plus, if you've seen the movie Swiss Family Robinson, with the Swiss Family Treehouse, you guys familiar with that?
Yes.
It's one of our favorite things, and it's a great classic Disney film if you've never seen it. It's on Disney Plus, 1960. Great film. So it was filmed in the West Indies on an island called Tobago. And a couple of years ago, Jody and I traveled out there to Tobago for 2 weeks to scout around and do some research and find all the shooting locations for the movie, including the tree that the treehouse was built in. It's a real live tree, and it's over 200 years old, and it's still alive, and you can go and see it. So we documented almost shot for shot the whole movie. And now we have been asked to write a book on the making of the film with the help of the Walt Disney Archives. And it will come out, well, like I said, it's supposed to come out in December, this December is the 60th anniversary of the release of the film. But I think it will probably come out in next spring. That's going to be my guess. But anyway, so we're working on that. So we're writing and gathering information. So if anybody out there has any special information on the making of the film that we don't know about, or if you ever worked at the Swiss Family Treehouse at Disneyland, back in the day, we want to hear some good stories. Us through our Facebook page, Kevin and Jody, or or Instagram for sure. So yeah, that's
okay,
exciting.
Cool. So people can reach you at Kevin and Jody, spelled all in one word.
Yeah, I think on Instagram it is Kevin and Jody, and then on Facebook it's Kevin and Jody Show, which is the name of our company, the Kevin and Jody Show.
Perfect.
Thanks, Kevin. So amazing to have you on.
Yeah, we've been really big fans for years now, so we're really happy to talk to you, and thanks for doing it. I know we took longer. We told you 10 minutes, and now you've given us a half hour, so we
I was going to say to you guys, I'm really, really happy to have found you guys because, I keep telling a lot of our neighbors here in Anaheim about Sirowlvericks coffee. And the story of how I found out about you, not even through anything to do with Anaheim, but finding a bag of your coffee beans up at Farmer's Market up in Los Angeles. Right. And what caught my eye was, and I'm a big coffee lover anyway, so I was very excited to see a new coffee I'd never heard of. But then right on the bag it said, made in Anaheim, California. And I thought, how can this be? How in the world can this be? So, so you're like the coolest thing, coffee thing in Anaheim that, people don't know is from Anaheim. But we're really happy that you guys are here. And it just our neighborhood has no end to, the amazing creative stuff going on around here. So good to find you guys, and definitely enjoying all your coffee.
We love seeing your artwork. I know some of it goes on sale at Pop Comics, right?
Yes.
Anaheim. I visited some of your artwork to see it in person myself, so that's awesome.
Well, that's a great store. Yeah, Pop Comics on Center Street.
Right. Cool. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you. My pleasure. You guys have a great day.
Thanks.
You
And
too.
tell Jody we say hello.
I will. I will.
We'll definitely see you at Greenbird Anaheim once this COVID thing is over.
Yeah, when it's over, we'll be able to gather again, and we will be out there. And I seeing litter. People are still littering. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of work on our hands once we can finally get out there.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks for joining us with Kevin. And next week, we will have Emily Armstrong from Dead Sarah. And she'll be joining us on her birthday.
Great LA band. Dead Sarah is coming for episode 4. Thanks again to Kevin Kidney of Kevin and Jody Show. You can catch all their info and updates right here on Instagram at Kevin and Jody. This is Amy and Lillard. Thanks for joining us for Coffee Break with Sirowlvericks.